Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my preview of the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Let's kick it off with the Seahawks injuries. Now, players who are out this week are Chris Carson, center Ethan Pacic, Shaquille Griffin, Carlos Hyde, and defensive tackle Brian Moan. Now, Chris Carson has a foot injury, he's out. Pacic with a concussion, he's out. Shaquille Griffin with a concussion and hamstring injury, he's out. Neither of those three practiced this week. Also, Carlos Hyde is the only one who had limited practice. He has a hamstring injury. And Brian Moan with an ankle injury also did not practice at all. Now, out of these guys, honestly, I would have loved to have everyone but Brian Moan, because I really don't think Brian Moan has done that much for the Seahawks defense. But Carlos Hyde, Shaquille Griffin, Chris Carson, and Ethan Pacic should be the ones that in my opinion, I would love to see play, but hopefully they're ready for next week. Now for players who are questionable, we got Quinton Dunbar, Benson Mayowa, KJ Wright, Freddie Swain, Alton Robinson, and Penny Hart. Now, both Penny Hart and Quinton Dunbar have knee injuries, only that they've neither had practice this week, so hopefully they can play. And then with Benson Mayowa and KJ Wright, both of them had ankle injuries, but KJ Wright had limited practice on Friday, while Mayowa didn't even practice at all. While Freddie Swain has a foot injury, he was full practice on Wednesday, but the rest of the week, I don't know, except for Friday, which he did not practice. Alton did not practice this week, except for Wednesday, where he had full participation, but he has an illness, which I don't know if it's COVID, but if it is, hopefully he survives that, and hopefully he gets onto the field pretty soon. Now for players who aren't out or questionable, but are possibly going to be playing today against the Los Angeles Rams, are free safety Ugo Amadi, tackle Dwayne Brown, tight end Greg Olsen, Mike Iupati guard, center DJ Reed, running back Travis Homer, safety Jamal Adams, cornerback Ryan Neal, running back DJ Dallas, quarterback Geno Smith, and defensive tackle Jaron Reed. Ugo Amadi, most likely, I don't think he will be playing, but he will be rotating. I think that's what will happen with Ugo. He'll be rotating. Dwayne Brown, most likely, will play. Did not practice on Thursday, but practice the rest of the week. Greg Olsen, I think he's going to play as well, even though he has a foot injury. Mike Iupati, back injury, I think he might play this week. DJ, I think he might play today against the Los Angeles Rams. DJ Reed has an ankle injury, and I think he will play because he did participate in practice the entire week. And Travis Homer with a knee injury, I think he's also going to be playing this week, even though he had limited practice on Thursday and Friday. Then Jamal Adams with his groin injury had full participation, but I'm not certain about Thursday or Friday. Well, I think he will be playing though. Ryan Neal, he has a hip injury, and same as Jamal Adams, except for Thursday. Friday, he did participate in practice, and I think he's also going to be playing. DJ Dallas with an arm and wrist injury, he practiced full on Wednesday. I don't know about the other 2 days, but I do think he'll be playing. Of course, Geno Smith ain't going to be playing, even though he has a knee injury. He's the backup to Russell Wilson, so if Russell Wilson happens to get injured, he'll come in and he'll be ready. And defensive tackle Jaron Reed with a rib injury, he's most likely also going to be playing. The guy that I think will most likely be set to maybe take it easy and rest is most likely going to be someone like Dwayne Brown maybe, but I'm not certain. I do think all of these guys will be playing today against the Los Angeles Rams. Now on to the Los Angeles Rams injuries. Now there are no players who are currently out for the Rams, but they have some questionable players, which are linebackers Terrell Lewis and Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd having a knee injury and Terrell Lewis with a shoulder injury. Brian Allen, offensive lineman, is also questionable with a knee injury. Now the most likely one of those not to play is Brian Allen, as he did not practice at all, I believe, and while basically the other two did have limited practice or full participation, I think that the only one not to play of the questionables is Brian Allen. Now for the possible players we got is offensive lineman Andrew Whitworth, and David Edwards. While we got Darrell Henderson Jr. also as one of the players that are most likely going to be playing. And honestly, out of those guys, I think the only one that will most likely or probably be out will be Andrew Whitworth because of the limited practice he had. But I think that those guys will all play. That all these guys will play, but the most likely ones to probably get put as out is Andrew Whitworth. Now let's get on to the starting lineup of the Seattle Seahawks. We're definitely starting Russell Wilson at quarterback. Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson are out, so in comes Travis Homer and DJ Dallas. At fullback, we got Nick Beller. We got wide receivers will be DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and David Moore. Penny Hart and Freddie Swain will be there just in case. While on tight end, it will be Greg Olsen with Will Dissly right behind him. Then on offensive line, we got Dwayne Brown, Mike Iupati on the left side. On the right side, we got Damian Lewis and Brandon Shell. And the center, which was Ethan Pacic, it will be out. So in come Kyle Fuller at center for this game. And honestly, I think for Seattle, keep passing the football, keep running the football with both Travis Homer and DJ Dallas. You keep throwing it up for Lockett. You keep throwing it up for Metcalf. You keep throwing it up for David Moore. Honestly, that's all we need to do. We need to keep on scoring on offense. We cannot be stopped on offense. That's the key for Seattle. If we get stopped on offense and then our defense allows a score, that's what's going to kill the Seahawks today against the Los Angeles Rams. Now on defense, we got defensive ends LJ Collier and Carlos Dunlap, who had a very good game. And of course, Rasheem Green and Benson Mayowa are the backups, but as far as I know, it will most likely be Alton Robinson or Jonathan Bullard right behind Dunlap, just in case either one of those two goes officially be out for the game. At defensive tackle, we got Jaron Reed and Poona Ford. At linebacker, we got Bobby Wagner. And outside linebacker, we got KJ Wright and Jordan Brooks, just in case that KJ Wright doesn't play. It's either going to be Cody Barton or Shaquem Griffin to replace him. Now for corners, our starting corner will definitely be either Quentin Dunbar, Ryan Neal, or Quentin Dunbar and Trey Flowers. And if Quentin Dunbar doesn't play, I most likely will be Trey Flowers and Ryan Neal, or possibly DJ Reed and Trey Flowers. Or if DJ Reed doesn't play either, Lyndon Stephens will come in. And honestly, it was most likely be Quentin Dunbar, Trey Flowers for the corners. Now at safety, we got Quandre Diggs, and most likely at strong safety is Jamal Adams. And honestly, this defense is battered up, but I think we can actually stop the Rams several times to at least win the game by a few points. Now we get on to special teams, where of course the kicker is Jason Myers and the punter is Michael Dixon. While on the kickoff return, we got Travis Homer and Tyler Lockett in the backfield, while we get David Moore, Tyler Lockett, and Ugo Amadi over there on the punt return. And honestly, I think that on the punt return and the kickoff return we're good. Kicking we're good. And Michael Dixon, if he gets just 60-yard punts every single time, 70-yard punts, I am going to be happy with Michael Dixon this game. Now for the Los Angeles Rams. At quarterback, it'll be Jared Goff. They'll most likely start as running backs Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers. At receivers, they'll go with Cooper Kupp, Josh Reynolds, and Robert Woods. Tight end will be Tyler Higbee with Gerald Everett right behind him. Offensive line, it will most likely be Andrew Whitworth, David Edwards, Austin Blythe, Austin Corbett, and Rob Havenstein. And honestly, I think this Rams offense is going to be troublesome for the Seahawks defense, especially when it comes to Cooper Kupp, Josh Reynolds, and Robert Woods. I think our defensive line can actually stop Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers, but it's most likely going to be the pass game that the Rams are most likely going to succeed against the Seahawks, more because of our battered secondary and possible linebacking core, which is honestly right now we have some players that are still questionable, so we won't know until game time. Now on defense, we got defensive linemen Michael Brockers and Jordan Fox as defensive ends, and on defensive tackles we got Aaron Donald and Sebastian Joseph day. And that's going to be a deadly force, especially with Aaron Donald. But besides that, linebackers will most likely be Micah Kaiser and Kenny Young in the middle, while on the outside you get Samson Ebukam and Leonard Floyd. And to be honest, that I'm most worried about Leonard Floyd when it comes to linebackers. Kenny Young maybe as well, the guy who came from Baltimore last year via the trade for Marcus Peters. But yeah, that's one thing I'm worried about. Cornerbacks Troy Hill and Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is the very corner that we have to beat. I most likely think that it will be DK Metcalf going up against Jalen Ramsey. And to be honest, if DK makes him into Stephon Gilmore, I think that Jalen Ramsey will definitely have trouble against DK Metcalf. It'll most likely be easier for him to go up against Tyler Lockett, but when it comes to Metcalf, he has the strength, he has the speed, and he has the height. I think that Jalen Ramsey can be beat by DK Metcalf, but it'll be very troublesome as well for Metcalf. For free safety, we got John Johnson III and strong safety Taylor Rapp. Honestly, I don't know of either one of these guys, but hopefully we can beat them as well. Maybe with our slot receivers, or maybe Tyler Lockett beats them, or even our tight ends. We can throw some deep bombers to the tight ends, maybe some post routes, some routes that are deep for tight ends, maybe something like that. But as far as I know, I don't know either one of these guys, but hopefully we can do very well against these guys. Now, for the special teams, with kicker, they have Kai Forbath, who, for me, I don't see Kai Forbath as a very good kicker, but I think could be reliable for the Los Angeles Rams, while their punter, Johnny Hecker, is honestly, comparing him to Michael Dixon, he is also considered to be a guy who can punt it 60 to 70 yards deep. And honestly, I think that Johnny Hecker would be a very, very good punter for the Los Angeles Rams against the Seattle Seahawks, putting us probably around the 10, inside the 5, somewhere around there. Most likely because this guy can kick the football downfield very far. Now for kick return, we got Simba Webster and Raymond Calais at the kickoff return, while Cooper Kupp and Webster as well for the punt return. Now, Cooper Kupp is what I think would be the most likely guy that I think will give us some trouble, is Cooper Kupp on the kickoff returns. But I'm still not giving up. I think Seattle can take down Cooper Kupp, but it's not going to be easy for Seattle. Now, what is my conclusion for this game? I think it's going to be a very, very close win for either team, but I'm going to give it to Seattle mostly because I think the Seahawks can come back from a loss. Honestly, Seattle has the best record since the NFL merger for teams that come off a regular season loss. And honestly, I think that is very good. And honestly, Russell Wilson will definitely get his win, but not convincingly, because of course the Rams will give us very, very much trouble all game against them today. But I am saying the Seattle Seahawks will win. Well, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think will win? Who do you think will lose? And tell me what is the best matchup of this game. And for me, it's definitely going to be Jalen Ramsey taking on DK Metcalf. So now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe and hit the notification if you want more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.